Hi, it's Karen with Living Our Dream Homestead, where today we're going to be making an old-fashioned chicken pot pie. Now first we need to turn on our oven to 400 degrees, and we need to be using a 13 by 9 by 2 inch pan that we are going to butter the sides and the bottom of it. And then we'll put that aside. We actually will be starting over here on the stove top and start cooking it. You need a large saucepan for doing the old-fashioned chicken pot pie. In here I've put a 1/3 cup of unsalted butter, and as you can see it's still melting. I've put in 1/2 cup of chopped onion, and I ended up using a yellow onion, and then I put in 1/2 cup of sliced carrots. Now these carrots were fresh, so I went ahead and skinned, the skins off, and then I sliced it. Now we are going to go ahead and cook this on about medium heat until the onion and the carrots are tender. Onion looks tender. Now we're going to go ahead and sprinkle 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour over this mixture. Now we're going to stir that in. Yes, it looks thick. That's how it should be. Now we need to put in 1.5 cups of chicken broth. I am using homemade chicken broth. And now we need to put in 1.5 cups of milk. I'm going to be putting in 2% milk. If you had whole milk, that would even taste better. Now that I've added in the milk, we need to go ahead and get it to boiling. Once it boils, we will go ahead and cook and stir for 2 minutes or until it gets thickened. After you added in the milk, you should be stirring. You don't have to do it constantly, but you definitely need to be stirring, and once it boils, you need to be stirring constantly during those 2 minutes. It is definitely getting thicker. I'm just waiting for it to boil right now. It's just starting to boil, so I've set the timer for 2 minutes, and we need to be stirring constantly for those 2 minutes, so we don't want it to, the mixture to burn on the bottom of the pan. It's been the 2 minutes. Now we need to go ahead and add in 1 cup of cooked green beans. Now, if you wanted to, you could put in corn. You could put in some more carrots if you wanted to. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in 4 cups of cooked chicken. I'm going to go ahead and add that in now. We're going to then go ahead and try to just heat it on the stove. I actually turned down the heat to it's before medium, just to heat the chicken and the beans, and then we'll take it off the stove. I actually had cooked a 6-pound chicken, and I ended up having about 3.5 cups of cooked chicken. So that's okay. I mean, it's not quite 4, but like I said, that's okay. Usually I just fix a whole chicken, and then I put in however much chicken that makes, and I put it in the pot. This will make a lot of servings. This makes anywhere from 6 to 8 servings. And you can also freeze this. The completed product, usually I freeze it in bowls and top it off with a biscuit. And you can keep it in the freezer, and then when you're ready, you could just, thaw it in the microwave and heat it up just like you would a TV dinner. So I'll go ahead and keep on heating this a little bit through, and then now that the vegetables and the chicken has been heated through, we need to add in 1 teaspoon of salt. And we need to stir that in. And now we're going to go ahead and take this off the stove and go over here and make the biscuits. Now to make the biscuits. In this bowl I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of granulated cane sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. That's this one here, cream of tartar. And now we're going to go ahead and put in half a cup of butter that's unsalted. I ended up cutting mine up here into like little pieces, and we're going to go ahead and put that in there. And now we're going to go ahead and mix the butter into the flour and make a crumb mixture. You can either use a fork, or I'm going to use a fork and then wash my hands and use my hands to get it all crumbly. I needed to tell you that the butter needed to be well chilled, and it did work better to break up the butter with your bare hands than the fork. You can use a pastry cutter to break down the butter into your flour mixture, to get it into like a fine crumb. As you can see, it is definitely like a powdery substance kind of thing, and that's how it should be. And now we're going to go ahead and stir in 2/3 cup of milk. I am using 2% milk, and I'll go ahead and do that right now. Your biscuit dough should look like this. Now we're going to go ahead and get a floured surface. I'm going to use wax paper and just put some flour down, and I'm going to pat it, or you can roll it to about 1/2 inch thick, and we're going to go ahead and cut into biscuits with a biscuit cutter. When we got our biscuit dough out of the bowl, we just needed to plop it down onto a floured surface. Biscuit dough does not need to be played with, so I just plopped it down, then took my hand and patted it down to about 1/2 inch thick. It might be a little bit thicker there. And then I went ahead and cut it with my biscuit cutter. Or if you don't have a biscuit cutter, you could have like some kind of surface that's, to get it round in that shape. I've got a large one here, and then I've got one that's even taller. And now I'm going to take the rest of the dough here and squish it again a little bit, pat it down, and cut some more. And I'll finish this up. Now that our biscuits are all cut, we need to go back over to our saucepan with our chicken sauce mixture and pour that into our buttered casserole dish. Then we'll put our biscuits on top. Now that the biscuits are on top of our chicken mixture, we need to go ahead and put it in a 400-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes, or until the biscuits are like a golden brown. Then I'll show you when it's done. The chicken pot pie is all done. I just cooked it until it got a little bit brown there, so it ended up going about 17 minutes. Now I'm going to go ahead and let it cool, and then we'll do a taste test. Here's the chicken pot pie up close. As you can see, it's still a little runny there, but it will thicken a little bit more, the sauce, as it cools down. It's still pretty hot, and there's the biscuit. It browned very nicely. So let's go ahead and try it and see how it tastes. We're back, and the chicken pot pie is all done. I showed you up close what it looks like. Now, I got the recipe from the Taste of Home contest-winning annual recipes of 2010. Now, this recipe does take a little bit longer than a standard recipe, because you do have to have some cooked chicken, and I fixed mine in the Instapot. You could also buy a chicken, like a roast-eared chicken, and use that if you didn't have time to cook the chicken. But it is very delicious, and it does make a lot of servings. And again, 6 to 8 servings. So just for my husband and I, we'll eat on it for 2 days and then freeze the rest. But it would be perfect if you're having a gathering. Or again, you can have it anytime. So let's go ahead and try it. Some of the sauce here, and then we'll try some of the biscuit. That is delicious. Now let's try the biscuit. The biscuit is kind of fluffy there. tastes fabulous. Well, thank you for watching. This was Karen with Living Our Dream Homestead, and I hope you have a good day.